morning. Over the past couple years, I've really been wondering about, is it worth paying a lot of money specifically for travel bags for diving? And over the course of several cruise and dives and several road trip dives and now flying, I have learned quite a few things, and I'm just going to launch right in using this Black Hawk bag as my first example. This Black Hawk bag is not all that expensive, and it is, as you can see, it's pretty big, and it holds everything. In fact, it can hold 2 people's worth of gear. So the benefit to that is you can put a whole lot of gear in here. The drawback would be if you are going somewhere where weight is an issue, you would probably be overweight with this bag. Another issue we've had with this bag is the width of it. If we're going diving and cruising on a cruise ship, this width is a little bit too wide to make it through the passageways on the ship. And the other thing is, every time you go through customs, whatever's in the side pockets, and we're able to fit 1 set of fins in this pocket, 1 set of fins in that pocket. Every time we go through an X-ray machine, we have to empty out the pockets on the side so that it will fit through the machine. So that's a drawback of this. However, on a road trip, there are some benefits. It's got such a nice, wide, stable wheelbase that it doesn't tend to roll over and twist your wrist. Also, being able to fit 2 sets of dive gear into it when space and weight is not an issue, that makes it so easy for each of us just to take a backpack and then put all of the dive gear in here. We know the bag's going to get wet. We know that everything's in here, and it's one bag to grab when we need all of the gear. So that's one of the benefits. It's got plenty of room. It's got room in here for 2 sets of regulator bags. It's got room up here for travel documents, and the interior is absolutely enormous. And sorry about the sun. It's kind of an overcast day and the clouds are drifting through, so it's getting lighter and darker. So that's the summary on this bag. Okay, this bag is an Akona Adventure gear bag, and this is basically what is now being sold as the less than 7 bag. This is a little bit of an older model, and it's still in really great shape and holding up well, so I'm not going to replace it. There's absolutely no need. One thing is that these side pockets kind of look like they should be for fins, but they're not. Snorkel fits in there perfectly, but I have come up with a really great solution, which is simply to put, where are they? To put these on the inside. These are my fin straps, and leave the straps off of it and just roll the bag around like this. This bag also has a pretty good wide wheelbase, and so it doesn't turn over. Also, the handle is really long, which is great because I've got long legs, and when I'm walking with this, I'm not kicking, my heels are not kicking it. It's got plenty of space on the inside. My entire Xena Ziegel kit fits in here, along with my regulators, gauges, mask, lights, surface marker buoy, everything fits in here just fine. And I think I did a hyperlapse, and I'll leave a link below to me packing this bag one time. And actually, my dive partner Bill doesn't really like this, but I can fit the fins on the inside, but they curve a little bit, and I haven't ever found any documentation over whether that's a really horrible thing to do to your fins or if it's okay for a short period of time. They always tend to flatten out as soon as I get where I'm going, so I actually can carry everything imaginable in this bag alone. So I'm really enjoying this bag. It's got a place on the back for your name and address and all of that, and I haven't really had any compromises with this except for being able to fit the fins in. This is the bag I just took to Cuba, and to make things easier, I simply put my fins in Bill's bag and put all of my gear in here and some of my clothes as well. And I'll tell you a little bit about our strategy for when we travel, how we deal with our bag. Okay, so one way to make dive travel easier, when you have a dedicated bag like this that you have all of your dive gear in a separate bag have all of your clothing and everything. When you get to the place where you're going to be spending a lot of time, spending several nights, then what you simply do is you take all your dive gear out, you go for a dive, and when you're done with the gear, you're going to put it into a mesh bag like this. This one is from Deep Outdoors, and this is Bill's. It has handles on both sides and handles at the top. I thought that I would be more comfortable with one that was more like a backpack. So last time we were down in Venice, we stopped at a dive shop and I picked up this one. I can access the top, or it has a zipper on the side. I can open it up from the side to get my gear in, and it's got a little bit of a pouch here for smaller items. And I find that it's kind of slouchy and it doesn't have as much shape, and so it kind of hangs funny in a big bulk on my back, but it does what it's designed to do, which is allow my gear to dry out. I move all of my clothes into this bag, I spend the vacation working out of this bag, and at the very end, at the end of a trip when we've rinsed everything out, then my dive gear goes back into here and my clothes get compacted and put back in the bag that they travel in, which is usually a smaller backpack. So here's where I really started questioning whether it's worth it to purchase traveling gear specifically for diving or not. And one thing that I've always been leery about is I didn't want a bag that said scuba equipment across it, because I didn't want to draw a whole lot of attention to what was inside the bag, thinking that's a lot of expensive equipment and I don't want to advertise what's in it. And I do have a Dan tag on here that usually gets tucked inside, and I also have luggage tags everywhere on it because I don't want to lose it. And what I do is I simply tuck those inside, and anybody who is transporting the bag can see that there is a address tag right there, but it's not sticking out and getting caught on things. So looking at purchasing really expensive dive bags, and these are really expensive. I picked this up for a really good price though. I think I paid $75, $50 for the bag, $25 shipping, purchased it on eBay, and it was like new. And the first thing that I really was attracted to about the bag was the size, that it's a little bit narrower than Bill's Blackhawk bag, so it works a little bit better on cruise ship aisles, and also it's flat enough to go through x-ray machines without unpacking it. It also has a spot here for a water bottle, and I'm always carrying a water bottle. It's got a spot here for all sorts of documents along with a clip, and then this front section holds a regulator bag, so when you are flying you can simply keep it in there and then pull it back out and put it in with your carry-on gear as your personal item. One thing that I think that's really funny about dedicated dive gear travel bags is they always have spaces for the fins to drip dry, but actually I've always found that my fins were the first thing to dry, and next is my mask, and wasn't really sure why why they think there's going to be water running off of my fins while I'm traveling. They're drying first, and everything inside is going to be what's wet. These bags are so big that there's enough room in here for probably 2 sets of gear, or you could put 1 set of gear and all of your clothes for probably a week to a month, because you don't need that much more depending on how long you're going. The handle is nice and long, the wheelbase is nice and wide, it doesn't tip, it's got really good grippy wheels, they're kind of like tractor tires, and it's a great bag. However, I will tell you it weighs almost 15 pounds. So if you're flying to Cuba like we just did, this bag is not going to be an option, because with a restriction of 50 pounds of gear, that would leave you 35 in what you're going to put in the bag and 15 for the weight of the bag. And so we opted not to take these bags to Cuba. We used a different system, and so I'm still kind of wondering whether it's worth buying dedicated dive gear bags. These are made so tough, the construction is just absolutely superb, and I think that's one of the reasons that it's good to invest in specific travel bags for your gear, because you know it's going to be protected. The other thing is that every single spot where you zip together, there's a way to lock the bags, and that's pretty important. We use TSA locks. I'll show you those. We use TSA locks like this. These are the ones that we use, and the 4 of these together weigh about almost a pound, so each of these adds about 1/4 pound to your luggage weight as well. So that's something to consider. So these are not going to end up being the bags that we use when flying, most likely ever. However, they're great for cruises and they are great for road trips. And I really hate having bags for different applications. However, that's just kind of the way it's ended up. And all total, in all the bags we own, I think we have less than $200 invested, which this bag, I believe, still retails for around $300. So we're not doing bad. We have a lot of things in storage. However, we are meeting our needs with a variety of methods. All right, this one looks just like the one that I just showed you. This is my Akona Adventure bag, and this is Bill's Akona Adventure gear bag. And you're gonna be a little bit amazed. I found this one on eBay, and I figured out something kind of interesting about eBay. You know how when you find a really, really good deal, and it's because it's a item that somebody wants you to pick up? Well, somebody put this one up, and I bid $20 on it. Pickup was in the next town where I run Captain Charters anyway. I had to go there anyway, and actually I ended up just picking it up at work. The guy was so nice, he dropped it off where I work, so thank you very much. But that's a good way to pick something up. Something large like this that would cost too much to ship, if somebody puts it up for bids and nobody bids on it because they're not close to the area, well, you might pick it up for a good deal. Now, where mine ended up having a regulator bag that had somebody's name, which is probably a good idea, Adler, thank you, Adler, on it, Bill's ended up with this funny little pouch, which I'm not sure if it's for documents or maybe it's to slide your gauges into so that they don't get damaged. Also has the regulator bag in it, and it also has the water bottle, but we're not that chuffed about the water bottle because it's not an insulated one, but it goes with the kit, so there it is. Still, it's an absolutely superb bag. It's got lots of, the zippers are just really good quality. It's got lots of space. It's got a huge amount of room inside and flops open quite easily for access and fits through everywhere. It is pretty heavy though, like I said, so that kind of makes us wonder, okay, so gear dedicated for carrying your dive gear is a little heavier and heavier construction. And what would happen if we just used some regular bags for carrying our gear instead of something so specific? Could that work? Could we save some weight that way? So I'll show you what we tried next. Okay, the next option is use what you have decorating, and this is a travel bag. It actually makes into a backpack, and it's just a nylon kind of a rolling bag. And I think I picked it up at South Africa at a hypermarket. I believe I picked it up at Game, and it was 20 or 30 rand. I mean, it was really, really reasonable. And this thing has been all over the world. And I'm worried that with some of the dive gear, some of the items that you have, say your fins, have some sharp edges on them. And I thought there's a possibility that they could get worn running through conveyor belts and things like that in luggage sections to get on planes and back, but so far not really the case. Now, what Bill used was a bag just like this, just about the exact same size. His happened to be from LL Bean, and we were a little bit worried about damaging the exterior of it as well. And flying only a 1-hour flight on JetBlue out of Orlando to get to Cuba, and the bag did fine, and it worked everywhere we went, and it was just simply another nylon bag like this with kind of a hard backing and wheels. And so this works just fine. Use what you have decorating is one way to go with transporting your dive gear. I would love to hear if there's anyone who says that there's you absolutely must use gear that's designed for carrying your dive gear, or does it really matter? So far we've got 3 sets of gear and we use all of it for different applications. Some we use in the car, some we use on the plane, some we use on the cruise ship, and been happy with all of it. And I'd like to hear if you have any ideas on what's best. Is it better to have the more rugged construction? Like I said, I'm always worried about advertising that I've got dive gear in it. One thing we did notice on this last trip was that weight is an issue, and some things that we did were we invested in, this is the niftiest little device, it's just a little scale, 1 button, easy readout, and it can give you imperial or metric, so in case you're going to be coming back through the airport and it's going to be in metric and you're not sure how to figure that out, don't have a converter with you, this will measure it. And it works so easy. You simply turn it on and you hook your bag to it and hold it up, and it's going to give you a measurement. So the bag that I'm holding up here is a dry sack from Dan, and it weighs almost a 1/2 pound. And so this was another area that we learned that we could shave a little bit of weight. And I have here this is probably upside down, a Sea to Summit bag. Does the same thing, 35-liter dry bag, and it actually doesn't weigh enough to make this thing turn on. It weighs maybe an ounce, maybe. So that's another way to shave a little bit of weight on your travels. Okay, I hope you're enjoying this vlog. I hope you found this useful. I hope this has given you a few ideas about the pros and cons of different types of luggage to use for dive travel. I will have to say that what you already have is probably going to work just fine, and you don't really need to invest a whole lot of money into something super expensive like this. However, if you're traveling a lot and you're worried about all of your gear being protected, this is a good way to go. These Akona Adventure bags are just absolutely padded and super tough. They weigh a bit, but as long as you watch the weight of everything that you're taking with you, should be fine. If you're going on any holidays, let me know what you took, what worked, what didn't work, and we've got a couple trips coming up, so I'll let you know what we use and what we find, and if we learn anything more about whether or not you should purchase dive travel bags specifically designed for dive gear. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll take you along on the next couple of trips. We've got a couple more vacations planned this summer, a few dive trips here and there just around Florida, and I'll